Future Nima here. Hey, I forgot to mention just a couple of things. One, the whole group chat thing that they did, the whole communication thing, I think it's pretty cool. I wish there was a way that you could stream from that. I don't know if that's something they're saving and it just hasn't been announced yet, or if that's not a thing. But I think that would be a good idea to have that built in. I was also just going to add a little bit about the GameCube virtual console being added to Nintendo Switch Online. And I just want to say this, like, it's cool that they're doing it, and I'm happy, and I'm glad that they're even having that new controller, the new version of the Wavebird or whatever. But it said only on Switch 2. So are you telling me the Switch 1 could not run GameCube? Like, I just don't buy that. I will say though, both additions to the Switch and Switch 2 now are positive though, and I do think they're cool. So we just have so much to go over. The Switch 2 Direct just ended a while ago. I've processed some things, and then the prices all came out. So where I had planned to basically have this entire video to just be about the Direct, unfortunately a good chunk of it is gonna have to be about the pricing, because that in itself deserves its own section, if not its own video altogether. But at this point, I think it would be almost more important to discuss the pricing, maybe even more than the actual Direct, as it really does matter. But let's start with the Direct, and let's just go with this. Okay, so first starting off with some of the specs that were announced, I was relatively impressed, especially running like, 4K, 60 FPS, 1080, 60 FPS. It's all really good as far as performance goes. Graphically speaking, I don't know, I felt a little underwhelmed, if I'm being honest. Like, while I was watching this Direct, of course I was enjoying Mario Kart. It looks cool, looks fun, definitely down for some of the different modes that they had, and it seems to be just a really massive game. But I also really wanted to pay attention to third-party games. Yes, the first-party games are really important because no one's going to make them better for the Switch. You know, that's one of the things that Nintendo is known to do. It's like, their first-party games are going to look amazing and only be exclusive. But on the other hand, to kind of get an idea of where we're at with the hardware, or where we're at with the comparisons to other consoles, if you will, you kind of have to go to the third party. And everything that they announced third-party wise looked really awesome 4 years ago. And that was sort of an issue. The fact that we didn't even see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we saw Remake, which was a great game on the PS4, Elden Ring, which has been out for I think 4 years now, and Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, the working version of it came out in 2021, but that's still, well, 4 years ago. So we're still kind of behind the 8 ball here when it comes to being a Nintendo fan and playing catch up with the rest of the market. The thing that also bothered me is Elden Ring was shown, and trust me, when that was shown, my opinion of the Switch 2 got a lot better. Because up until then, it had only been Mario Kart, and I'm not sure, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it kind of just been like those kind of cutesy type games that are more rounded edges, if you will, and it's like, it's fine, it's cool, it looks great. And then once I saw Elden Ring, I was like, okay, alright, we're getting into big boy stuff here. But I didn't even notice that it was like a complete edition. Now, I don't know, and I could be wrong, and there's something I'm gonna have to look through. But like, if Ardent Tree isn't on that, and honestly, I think even Night Rain or whatever that is, the third DLC for it is gonna be coming out really soon. I mean, theoretically, those should be included, at least Ardent Tree, because you can go back and get Elden Ring on PS5 or Xbox Series, and usually you can get it for a relatively good price. It goes on sale quite a bit. Final Fantasy Remake, another example. And this game came out on the PS4. On the PS5 right now, I think it's like $20. But yet, we're gonna end up paying full price for a pretty old game. Rebirth in itself is a year old and didn't even get announced. This is the kind of thing with the Switch that I've been a little bit frustrated with, and I was hoping that we would see more new games, and we did get a From Software, I think it's Blood Dusk or Dusk Blood, I don't know. Seems to be like a follow-up to Bloodborne, which is awesome, and super excited about that. It's exclusive, comes out in 2026. That was a good momentum shift for me. Although I will say, and I know it's too early to completely say this, but graphically, it didn't look that great. And I don't mean just the Blood Dusk or whatever, but I mean even Elden Ring and the images that they showed, the Cyberpunk 2077, that honestly looked like the original footage that we saw from like a PC or something. It didn't at least say it was Nintendo Switch 2. So I don't know. I'm very apprehensive about the actual quality of graphics that this machine is capable of producing. But okay, I get it. If you just get Nintendo stuff because you want to play Nintendo games, then yeah, okay, fair enough. And as I said before, Mario Kart Tour looks really good. And they even introduced Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a new Donkey Kong game. Sort of a 3D action adventure. In many ways, it sort of reminded me of the Kirby game, with a hint of like Mario Odyssey in it. But it does look fun, and I'm glad DK's getting a game because it's been a while since my main monkey has had a new title. But where was Mario? Like, it has been 8 years since we've gotten a Mario game. A new Mario game. I know you could count Bowser's Fury, but it was really just like a DLC. It was small, like 6 hours long. I mean, an actual Mario game, which I thought was crazy. The majority of the time, they either talked about Mario Kart or they talked about the upgrades. And yes, most of the games that we have on the Switch can be upgraded with Switch 2 capabilities. And like some of that looks like it could be cool. But the problem is they kept saying paid upgrade. Alright, fine, how much? Because I know going from PS4 to PS5, we had some upgrades there too, and they were about $10. Honestly, it was pretty well worth it in most games. Although with Nintendo, they don't have a standard price, so to speak. So if you are a online member, then you're able to get the Legend of Zelda ones for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for free, which is cool. And I think that they should have done that with all of the Nintendo games, but they didn't. And in fact, ones like Mario Jamboree and Kirby, they're going to be about $20 for the extra. And when you think about that, I mean, Mario Jamboree didn't come out that long ago, and you probably paid $60 for it. So now you're going to end up paying $80 for the Switch 2 version. That's a lot of money for a party game. I don't know. And this only compounds when you actually find out the price of some of the other stuff. The console itself, which I totally called, by the way, $449. Now, that comes with just the console itself, nothing else. If you want the bundle that comes with Mario Kart Tour, which is probably the thing everyone should do, it is $499. But if you just want Mario Kart Tour, you're not able to get that bundle, you're going to be paying $449 for the Switch 2 and $80 for Mario Kart. $90 for a physical version. And this doesn't seem to be a one-off, by the way. Now, some of the games, like the new Donkey Kong, it is only $70 or $80 if you want the physical cartridge. Now, by the way, just to be clear on this, the cartridge isn't actually a cartridge. It's more of just a game key that when you insert it into the console, it lets you know that you have bought the rights to the game, and you still have to download the entire game. So even the actual cartridges and physical games are not physical games, and according to Nintendo's website, they're just a game key. You know, this is only one part of it. If you want to add some Joy-Cons to your experience, that's going to be $90. Or how most people play docked is they use a Pro Controller, well, Pro Controller is going to be $80. A lot of this stuff is incredibly expensive, and to say the least, sticker shock is going through the gaming community. But to me, it's even more. Because here's where I'm at, and here's what I'm curious about. In your perspective, your idea, is you're sitting here. Would you pay $70 for Elden Ring on the Nintendo Switch 2, or $30 for Elden Ring on the PS5? And right now, it seems like the PS5 actually still looks better. And this is my issue with so many of the games. Like, if this was just first party, I would still have an issue because, holy crap, what are we doing? $80 first party games now? $90 if you want the cartridge or physical? Like, what is going on? But even if you look past that and you just go to third party, they're much cheaper, it seems like, on other consoles. And it seems like Nintendo's still playing catch up. So even though you're going to be paying that new sticker price for a Switch 2, you're probably a year to 3 or 4 years behind like a PS5 or an Xbox, especially if you're into a series like Elden Ring or Final Fantasy or what have you. That's just the way it seems like it's going. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying there's not going to be certain games that are going to come out and launch on the same date and day. That is probably going to happen. But I'm just saying for some of those scenarios where you're deciding, hey, do I want to get a Series S for $299 in Game Pass and play a lot of new games, or do I want to pay $70 or $80 per game over on Nintendo? And honestly, they probably look around the same, if not maybe even worse on the Switch 2. I don't know. A lot of this stuff is speculation, or at least my interpretation through a stream of it, but let's just say hands-on, it does look about the same, if not worse than a Series S. Then why would you pay that extra money for these older games except for the first-party games? And I'm just telling you, like, I'm going to end up buying the Switch 2. I will. I'll probably pre-order it, honestly. But our economy sucks. And I wonder how many people are going to continue to be able to afford this. As I was just looking, the average person, when they buy a console, they will buy the console, an extra controller, and 2 games. Now, with the Mario bundle, the Mario Kart bundle, you are still looking at about $650 for that, because you're paying $500 for the bundle, then $80 or $70 for the Pro controller. No, it's $80. And another $70 for a game. That's in that $650 range-ish. I don't know, I'm not good at math. But if you're not lucky enough to get the bundle, then look where you're going to be at. I mean, that's going to be almost at $700. Like, this is insane. Like, what are we doing? And I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to end up doing it. I'm going to probably end up selling or trading in my current Switch and a bunch of my physical games, because I just think physical game collecting is completely dead now. Nintendo definitely put that last stake in there. I'm not saying they killed it. You know, Sony and Xbox, they've done their good job of taking it down, but this one is pretty much the end. I mean, really, why would we be paying more money for a piece of plastic that is just no more than like a note from your mommy that says you're allowed to play a game? That's essentially all we're getting for an extra $10. Although, unfortunately, that means we're going to need more memory, and of course, the Nintendo Switch 2 uses a more expensive memory card, so that's going to be fun as well. I know that the 1TB, which I currently use, I bought for like $70, I believe. Yeah, the 1TB Express is $199, so awesome. This is just where we're at, I guess. I don't know, it sucks. Like I said, our economy is so crappy. No one has money for anything. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all of this? Are you still going to get a Switch 2? Are you still as excited for it? What's your breaking point? I don't know. Anything and everything in the comment section is much appreciated. I love each and every one of you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.